Welcome to the Tough Decisions Network. This is our special Saturday edition called Step Up Your Game with Dan. I'm your host, Dan Hanford, and I'll be discussing topics to help you make better decisions to increase your productivity, increase your sales, and improve your overall marketing. Visit toughdecisions.net to sign up for our free weekly entrepreneur email. Before we get started, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Have you ever thought about investing in real estate, but find yourself so busy that you don't have time for it? Do you have FOMO, which is the fear of missing out? At HanfordCapital.com, we help investors with passive real estate investments that project better returns than traditional investment vehicles such as the stock market. If you'd like to find out more about our passive real estate investments, visit HanfordCapital.com. That's HANDFORD capital.com. We will jump on a call with you to discuss your investment goals and to see if our investments are a good fit for you. This advertisement is not to be construed as an offer or recommendation to buy or sell a security. Visit HanfordCapital.com. On the podcast with us today is Wes Schaeffer. Wes is the sales whisperer, an obsessively pragmatic entrepreneur, sales trainer, copywriter, and speaker who believes marketing is just selling in print. He is the author of 3 books on sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship and has helped 2,400 of the world's top speakers, authors, coaches, and sales professionals achieve nearly miraculous growth by implementing his repeatable, transferable, and proven processes. Welcome to the podcast with us today, Wes.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So Wes, on our Saturday show, we focus on how to increase sales and how to increase productivity. And so when you came across my desk, I said he would have a perfect fit with our Saturday episode. So talk to us about what we're going to talk about today on regards to sales and how you have these 5 proven steps to make every sale.
Well, really, if I can get 1 million people to send me $1, I'll show them how to make $1 million through podcasting. That's the dirty little secret. Yeah, the reality is succeeding in sales is very predictable because people are very predictable. How people react to stimulus, to inputs, such as our input, how we engage, how we speak to them, how we make eye contact or don't make eye contact, all of those are very predictable. And when you understand the role that you play as the salesperson in making the sale, then you can control yourself. When you can control yourself, you can control the situation. When you control the situation, chances are very high that you can make the sale. And so I've broken it down into 5 key components. And like anything, there's nuances and subtleties. But if you get the 5 big building blocks right, you'll have more success. And then that'll give you the luxury, the time to finesse it and just make it better and better, but always within that parameter.
So in these 5 proven steps, can you walk us through the first one to get us started?
So I grew up in the South. I like to keep things simple, right? Like Forrest Gump. I'm not a smart man. I got to keep it really simple. So it's A, B, C, D, E. Okay. You don't even have to know the whole alphabet, just the first 5. And you need to understand that in this parameter. So if you're at home listening to this, if you can take notes, draw a circle. Okay, we're accustomed to a funnel, right, in sales, especially lately, last several years. Funnel hacking has been a big thing. So the idea is you put a whole lot in the top and a little bit comes out the bottom. Or a pipeline, you put a whole lot in one side and a little bit comes out the other side. And those concepts are okay, but they're linear, right? They don't understand the cyclical nature and how the symbiotic nature, right? How everything is interconnected. So if you start with A, put A at the 12 o'clock position and make a circle, but make it an arrow, right? So it comes back around and reconnects. And so with A, you're attracting, okay? You're attracting people to your website. You're attracting people to your trade show booth. You're attracting people to your storefront, to your food truck, whatever. Okay, so what are you doing? I always say people don't do business with you for one of 2 reasons. Either they haven't heard of you or they have. Okay, that's it. So if they have heard of you and they're not doing business with you, you got a whole nother problem. So assuming you're a decent human being offering a decent product or service, then not enough people have heard about you. So what are you doing to attract them to you? Okay, now part of that attraction, it's not enough to have a restaurant or a storefront or a website and have visitors. Okay, you don't make money from window shoppers. You need people to identify themselves. And even having a trade show, hey, come stop by the booth. We're giving away a free iPad. Are you really getting good leads? Or are you getting people that want a free iPad? Okay, I'd rather have 15 names from a trade show that want to do business with me than 1,000 names that just wanted an iPad. Because then I got to sort through all those people. Imagine calling all those leads. Oh, no, I just wanted the iPad. Stop calling me. You know, how dejecting would that be? I mean, just crushing, right, to call these people. So you want to attract people with something that is of interest to them. If you're a restaurant, you know, you have your birthday club, you have your, you know, whatever, your coupon group, your private VIP notifications. So people, you have to attract them to you and offer something that's so enticing that they give up their contact information. All right. Now, if you do it correctly, you ease them into it, but you offer greater and greater value. So people give you more information. Okay. You get their email. Great. What's their first and last name? What's their cell phone number? So you can text them. What's their address? Right. People can't opt out of postcards and letters. So do you have multiple ways, sequential, logical steps to build a better relationship so then you can move to the B, right? The bonding. Multimedia, multi-step, just like dating. You know, you start going out on a date and you call your date, you send them an email, send them a Snapchat, send them a text, write them a letter, send flowers. Okay, all these things, multimedia, multi-step. You show your interest in someone by being present consistently. Okay, so you attract them to you, then you build a bond.
Let me step back for just a minute here, Wes, and talk a little bit more about A. So one of the things that I kind of went to was I've been in trade shows before where I've been sucked into a booth to register, like you said, for an iPad or some sort of shiny object, if you will. And obviously there are people that walk in there and all they're wanting is the iPad. And what are some things that they can do to help get those people that, you know, so they don't just end up with 1,000 leads. They can get, you know, those 1,000 leads, but also understand that of those 1,000 leads, there's this slice of them that really wants you to contact them. Do you have some strategies on how that they can actually use that same, you know, tactic of getting people in to register for the iPad, but also to get them to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm also interested in your product, service, or, you know, what program you're selling?
Don't even give away an iPad. I mean, people think there's a trick, right? And the trick is people want to be treated and seen as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a book I'm just finishing reading called Deep Survival. And the guy talks about, he studies like why people live and why some don't in tough situations. And very capable people, you know, experienced mountaineers with equipment, you know, have just given up and died 2 days after being lost. They just freak out and they give up. But one of the reasons that they've learned is if people feel like they're lost and will literally never be seen again, they'll never see another human being and they'll never be seen by another human being, they go crazy. They go crazy and they give up hope. And so being seen, the eyes are the window to the soul. So do you see these prospects? I always tell people at trade shows, people are running around, they're hungry, horny, and hungover. Okay? That's how they show up like it's like they're at a fraternity again, even though they're 40 or 50 or 60 years old. It's like, man, lighten up, right? So they're out of their element. They're out of their routine. They're not at the gym. They're drinking more than usual. They're staying up late. They're getting less sleep. Now they're falling behind on their work. They show up with no plan. Oh, this is going to be awesome, man. Looking forward to the conference. They're going to try to get free meals out of everybody. But then they got to walk the floor a little bit, see what's going on. But they don't want to make eye contact. They don't want to be sold. They don't want to get trapped into some hour-long pitch by some greedy, pushy salesperson that just has a quota to make. So they just look down at their iPhones, kind of grunt, oh, yeah, hey. They can't make heads or tails out of what somebody's selling, because everybody's trade show booth is cluttered, and they use about font size 12, right? They basically put the entire Declaration of Independence and just about every law on earth on their trade show. You can't read it. So you look up, you can't make heads or tails out of it. Hey, how you doing? Oh, you got mints? Oh, great. Yeah. I'm so hungover. I got terrible breath. I didn't have any time to brush my teeth. I'll take some mints. Oh, you got chocolate? Okay, great. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got bouncy balls? Yeah, can I get some for my kids? Yeah, thanks. Okay. Oh, you got a pen? Yeah, I need more pens. Great. Okay. And they leave. Okay. So they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be pitched. They don't want to be cornered. And so you running that trade show booth have no process, no system to engage these people. They're at the trade show for a reason. Okay. Chances are pretty good that they're probably a decent prospect if you can engage them. And so really the simplest thing I've always told people, get outside of the booth, ideally push the table and everything back so you can stand out front. Have something you can hand them. Maybe it's a pen. You can give them away. You can give away something inexpensive, but a simple, as they're walking by, if you can see their name, I like to give them a choice. Some friends of mine work at Design Pickle. They do unlimited graphic design, and they'll bring 1,000 or more pickles in a bag to their trade show. And they've learned that the more pickles they give out, the more people that sign up for a trial. And so I was hanging out with them, and they were just kind of like, oh, would you like a pickle? I'm like, no pickle. So I said, look, here's how you do this. Because they had spicy and they had regular. So I grabbed the pickles, and I'm just hanging out with them right in their booth. Just, I'm at a trade show and I know them. And as people walk by, if I can see their name tag, it's even better, right? Because you're walking by, you're on your phone, you're heading somewhere. You go, Dan, spicy or regular? Just like that, right? Like firm. And because you feel like almost like you're in trouble, right? Like, whoa, what happened? And it snaps you out of your trance, because we're literally in a trance as we're running around staring at our phones. Okay, the blue light, whatever we're engaging in. What? Spicy or what do you mean? Now I got you, right? Because we're all playing a script. Hi, Dan. How are you? And Dan says,
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you liking the show?
It's great.
Wow. Where are you from?
Over there.
Is this your first time coming to the show?
No, it's my fourth time.
Oh, wow. You must really like the show, right? We've gotten nowhere. We just burned some calories, wasted some syllables, but where are we? And you're like, oh, great, another cheesy sales dude, all right? But instead, Dan, spicy or regular, you're like, holy crap, what did I just miss?
Two things you've done there is number one, you've addressed them by their name if you can, because then again gets them out of the trance and they automatically look at you and go, do I know this person? So it gets them thinking about you. And then the second thing you've done there is instead of just asking a question that they can just easily say yes or no to, they actually have to think about it. And so you've engaged them another way.
Yep, exactly. And so even if you don't get their name, you can engage them. So maybe you have some pens. Hey, blue or black, or just come up with something. Just hand it out as they're walking by, saying, Dan, take a pen. What? Why? Well, Dan, what we've learned, when people discover just how fantastic our offering is, they're ready to sign up right now. And so I'd hate for you to get all fired up and want this fantastic product with this one-time only trade show special and not have a pen to lock in this once-in-a-lifetime savings. What do you do, Dan? It sounds kind of cheesy, but people appreciate a little theater, okay? And I'm just making stuff up as we go, but don't give away an iPad. Good grief. What can you do with $1,000?
A lot.
A lot. And so engage people. Now you're seen. Now we're using your name. You love hearing your name. You love being seen. Now there's some kind of engagement. Like, what do you mean? Why am I going to order? I don't even know what you do. Well, I'm glad you asked. Step right up, Dan. Okay. Have a conversation. People just think it's just going to be easy. Oh, I have a booth and I got some font and quotes up there. They're just going to order.
I think you've painted the picture of the trade show scene to the T. If anybody has ever been to a trade show in the booth or outside of the booth, you know exactly what Wes is talking about here. So obviously after we leave the trade show and we're now trying to create the step number 2, which is that bonding, I think in that step, a lot of people stop at making one attempt or making one, try or conversation starting or sending out one piece to that prospect, and then that's it. And they think that that's that bonding.
Yeah, I'm working with a client right now, and they do trade shows, and he's asking, what should he write and all the follow-ups. I'm like, man, the mere fact that you follow up, you're going to kill your competition. Mm-hmm. You don't need to send them your catalog, brochures, owner's manuals. The mere fact that you have a system, I use, HubSpot, Entreport, Infusionsoft to help people automate their sales, and just putting in a simple drip campaign, so as soon as I meet you, I get your card or I scan your badge, I get at least your first name and email into my system, and I pre-build this. And so maybe I put a 15-minute delay. And so as you walk away, you get an email. Dan, thanks for stopping by the booth. Great seeing you today. Here's a link to the website. Here's a link to our trade show offer. Here's all my contact information. Keep in mind this price is good, until the show's over. Here's my cell phone number. If you have any other questions, but either way, if I don't hear from you, enjoy the show, and I'll follow up with you, like I said, when we get back to the office. Okay, so maybe I time it again to maybe send one more message before the end of the show, or maybe I'm just trying to get leads to follow up with later. So I'm going to have, let's say a 3-day delay, 4-day delay. Dan, how are you? I hope you made it home okay. Here's a link to my calendar, if you want to set a time to discuss, A, B, and C. So maybe kind of refresh your memory a little bit. Say if I don't hear from you, this week, I'll reach out to you next week. Okay, so just put some kind of drip system in there. If you scan 50 or 100 or 500 names, you can't do that manually. And most people, they let the marketing department handle it, blast out a bunch of form letters.
It's not personal.
Not personalized at all. And even this system, right? You can create a drip system that's automated but personalized, merging in relevant information. You can do it. You should do it. And then the system's going to be giving you tasks, right? Call Dan. It's been a week since you met at the trade show. And just, it keeps you on the ball. And then you can figure out the timing, like when should things peter out, and, maybe just put them in a long-term drip versus actively trying to get them. But think this through ahead of time.
Have a process before you actually get there.
Yeah.
So A is attraction. B is bonding. What is C?
So C is the close, the conversion, the cash. Okay. And if you notice, C is only the midway point. Rookies, amateurs think that the money is the deal. They think that's the goal. So they think once they get the money, then their job is done. Okay? And your job's not done, because people can cancel orders. They can file a chargeback. They can do all kind of crazy things. Maybe they make a down payment. They don't finish the payments. So you have to understand, well, A, make it easy for people to buy from you. So my wife, she handles the books, and PayPal is a pain in the butt to reconcile. And I'm like, I understand, but I still take PayPal because I want it easy for people to pay me. Okay. If you want to mail a check, fine. You want to wire me money? Fine. I'll take it. We will make it work. So make it easy for people to buy from you, but understand that the close, the conversion there into a paying customer is only the midway point.
Well, and that's also where you get to the point where you're, under promising and over delivering. And that's that part of that. That's where a lot of people stop, is they sell, get to the close, and they feel like then the process is over. Now it's actually the hard part begins. Now you actually have to, execute on what you just sold them.
Right. And that's where the D comes in. The D is delight. It's deliver a wow experience, right? So you've got to, just like in sports, you hit through the ball, football, you hit through the player, run through the block. In sales and doing it as a professional, you deliver on what you promise. You deliver through the cash transaction. So what are you doing? There's a I think it's a headset company. They put a little piece of Rolo candy or a Tootsie Roll in every bag, every box. So, you're ordering a headset for your office and there's a Tootsie Roll. You're like, what the what? And it's just different, and they learned that, chocolate melts, other things don't hold out, but a Tootsie Roll is pretty pliable and it lasts. So just little things, people go, hey, that's kind of cool. And they've done studies, like Olive Garden or places, where they give you a mint after you eat. If the waiter comes over, say, there's two of you, and the waiter says, oh, here's a mint, but just one. And you both look at each other and go, oh, who gets this? Then the waiter stops and turns around and says, oh, y'all are really great. I really love serving y'all tonight. Here's that extra mint for y'all. They've seen the tip has gone up 20 or 30% higher than what it would normally be, right? By just a little gamesmanship, a little theater, and he's going to give you 2 mints anyway. That they've done studies where if the waiter or waitress, touches you, right? Touches your elbow, touch you on the shoulder. How y'all doing today? What can I get you? Is everything okay? Just a little touch. Their tip goes up. All right. So obviously you got to learn how to read people. Some people are very closed. They're task goal oriented. You got to be careful, but still it holds, showing some life, showing some personality, going above and beyond pays dividends way beyond whatever it would cost you to do that.
Yeah, Robert Cialdini in his book Influence talks about the rule of reciprocity and goes through some research studies that he did that are along those same lines. Right. And I think a lot of those things, a lot of those studies might be coming from his research because he's been way ahead of everybody when it comes to the research on this stuff. And I love his books. And if anybody's listening and hasn't read one of his books called, the one I like is Influence by Robert Cialdini. He also wrote one recently called Persuasion. And I have both of those on my bookshelf, both very good books. And I love your idea of this, delight of the delivering the wow experience. This is after the sale. This is after you've already, got money from the customer. Or I guess in the sense of, the restaurant, you've already sold them because they've already bought everything. They haven't paid yet, but they're wanting to continue to wow them until they fulfill that payment process. Mm-hmm. But, one of the things that a friend of mine down in Florida is doing with his new medical clinics that he's opening up is one of the things that when a patient comes in and they haven't even paid yet, they came in for their first visit and they haven't even been told what it's going to cost them or anything. They are, of course, billing for the first visit, but then a lot of their services are cash based. They're giving them a wow box of some sort. They're giving them this, gift of, a coffee mug and something that these people will know and like and enjoy. And they think about, the qualityness of what they've been receiving, the kind of qualityness of that particular business. And it goes along those same lines of delighting the customer, delivering that wow experience and just going over and above and just providing as much value as you can.
Oh, yeah. And they're doing studies now. I mean, like Generation Z, right? The ones after the millennials enjoy reading a physical book. So look at that. Send something tangible because you may think, oh, nobody reads anymore. BS. They do read. So when you send something physical, I can't tell you how many times people have taken a picture of what I send them. I got a little welcome gift, for new customers, people that join my Make Every Sale group. And they're like, look what I got. So I mail them something physical and they love it, so it's something they don't expect and it's not that expensive. Even if you don't have a book, find a book that you like, go buy them in bulk, and okay, so you spend $12 or $15 and $4 or $5 shipping. Great. If you got a good sized customer, well, it's worth it. Good grief. You got to think ahead.
And like you said, a lot of people will take a picture of themselves when they get that and promote you more by posting it on their Facebook or their Instagram or their Twitter or their LinkedIn and thank you by name and connecting you with them. And, it also helps build your brand when you can do that too. I've done that same thing. I'm in the process of writing a book right now, so I don't have a book, but I have that book Influence by Robert Cialdini. I've given that away to people, who have, done things that I didn't get any money from them, but just to say thanks. And it just helps to kind of build that camaraderie as well.
Yeah. And so that what you're talking about, when people share that picture and talk about you, right? So that's the E. That's endear. when you endear yourself to them. And remember, this is a circle, right? It's when you endear yourself to people and they're sharing how good you treated them, well, now you're being exposed to their sphere of influence. And people have hundreds, if not thousands, of Facebook friends and Instagram followers, et cetera. So you're getting free publicity. Okay. So now you're back to the attract side of the equation, and it just keeps going and going and going. So you've got to think, past the sale, and then how do you make this easier on yourself? And so you got to realize though, that the sale is not the end goal. Keeping a customer for life, that repeat order that brings referrals and testimonials, that's the goal.
So let's recap here these 5 proven steps to make every sale. Number 1 is attraction. Number 2 is bonding. Number 3 is the close or the conversion. Number 4 is delight or delivering that wow experience. And then number 5, which is E, is going to be the endear yourself to your customer. And so, Wes, I want to thank you so much for being on our podcast today and providing these 5 proven steps to make every sale. How can the listeners reach out to you and follow you more, get some more information from you after they listen to this podcast?
Just find me at thesaleswhisperer.com. From there is all my social media links. I'm very active online. There's a contact us that comes straight to me. You'll get a link to my calendar. You can schedule a free Zoom call with me one-on-one. I've got all kind of free reports, and I've got over 1,000 pages on my website, over 300 podcast episodes, free reports. So if you can't find what you're looking for, hit me up. Probably wrote an article about it at some time in the past, and I can help you find it. But yeah, it's just thesaleswhisperer.com.
Well, thank you again, Wes, for coming on, and look forward to having you on a future podcast.
Hey, man, my pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Tough Decisions Network. Be sure to visit toughdecisions.net to gain access to show notes for this episode and to join our free weekly entrepreneur email, where we will send you news about the latest technology for your business, inspiring quotes, and the latest books for entrepreneurs. That's toughdecisions.net.